Sorry, I've been away for a few days. It's winter time, and naturally, I was under the weather. If you're a human and you're alive, then this is the time of year where you should get sick. You should not be hoping that you don't catch one of these media viruses that they're telling you are this, that, and the third. The only time you don't get sick as a human is when you die. Be grateful that you get sick. That means you're also going to eventually get better. Your immune system's working. You're alive. You're a person. Robots and androids and bots on the internet don't get sick. There's no such thing as any human who's never going to get sick. That's just like saying you're never going to die. Don't let the fear grip you and control you. If you get the sniffles or you're coughing and you're under the weather and you're weak, that's normal. I don't know what universe has all these people thinking that you're not supposed to ever get sick. So for me, because my voice was a little off, also my birthday just passed, so I'm sick, but I'm partying. My cousin's in town, so my priorities were a little off. But also, I just kind of wanted to see if any more information would come out, of course, about what happened on New Year's Day. To see if we have any bigger information that would make more sense. The Bourbon Street terrorist cased kill zone then made a unique mistake that spared lives. I think right now the count is 15 in New Orleans. I'll be honest with you, that's not very big. I was actually 2019. I went down there with my ex to New Orleans on Bourbon Street. We're at a bar, and I'm tired. I'm kind of drunk, so I'm like, let's leave. By the time we get back to my hotel room, 7 people dead, 11 people shot in the exact same bar I just left. Did they call it a terrorist attack? No, because they were black. So when someone's trying to convince me that this guy is just a terrorist and blah, blah, because what was accomplished? You know, for something to be considered terrorism, there has to be a political motive. Magically, he had a ISIL tag. It just seems like a guy who just kind of lost it. You know, he's at a bad time in his life, a low point. And, you know, people commit crimes in vehicles every single day when they get behind the wheel drunk and they kill a family, or they, drive through a stop sign, or they drive through a stoplight. It happens. For them to be making this out to be some kind of huge terror event, and this guy also lived in Houston, it just doesn't add up. None of this stuff makes any sense. Also, the Las Vegas situation. You know, what are the odds that this man and the last guy, let me see here. What are the odds that they were all at Fort Bragg? Let's see here. This is on the Safe and Effective Podcast Instagram page, but look, I don't know if it's a coincidence or what, but the man who died in the Tesla Cybertruck explosion was an active duty U.S. Army soldier, formerly based out of Fort Bragg. Also, the guy from New Orleans. Also, Fort Bragg, North Carolina. And then if you go back even further, after an extensive cell phone, laptop, and vehicle GPS analysis, going back 4 years, Ryan Wesley visited Fort Bragg 147 times. I don't know if you guys remember Wesley. He was the guy who was, if my memory serves me correct, was the extremist who apparently went to go fight in the Ukraine and then came back here and was plotting on Trump. Let me just go ahead and fact check myself. What was his name? Ryan Wesley Ruth. Let's look him up. There we go. American man who allegedly attempted to assassinate the 45th president. Yeah. This guy. Now, I'm not one to believe in coincidences, but not to be too conspiratorial, but what the fuck is going on at Fort Bragg? and I don't have any suggestions. I don't know anything more than anyone else, but it's human nature, and your brain should work in a way where you're looking for patterns. Some people call it profiling or whatever. They got all these different things. They tell you you're a racist or you're whatever. If you're looking for patterns in behavior, I'm sorry. I look for patterns in everything. I think that's normal and healthy. You know, the funny thing about this Cybertruck is they're saying that the man was burned beyond recognition, right? But they found his passport and some other documents. Where are they getting the material to make this paper that magically just doesn't burn? Just like those passports that fell out of the alleged plane that allegedly hit the towers. Magically, they showed up in a pile of rubble. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? You know, just like I always say with any hustle, 50% is the person trying to convince you that some bullshit is real. The other 50% is you convincing yourself because for some reason you want to believe. Just like back in 2020, you wanted to believe that the air was going to get you. There was some military man in front of your door with an M16 telling you that you can't leave your house or else, when there was no one there. 100% of that was, 50% of it was you. The other 50% was your television. Because remember, no one showed up and told you this stuff in person. You let the TV tell you what to do. Personally, I don't watch TV, so the propaganda must have failed. I kept going, business as usual. I'm actually going to start fundraising. I'm going to do a short series about, it's a comedy, anyway, about the lockdown. It's going to start the week of March 2020, and it's going to go all the way until the lockdown ended in California, so that would be 2023 second quarter. And I'm going to just show you all the ridiculousness. We're going to make fun of everything and everyone. And we're just going to put a mirror in front of people because shaming is healthy. You should be shamed for being a fucking idiot. And if you're still believing bird flu, that flu, this flu, quadra flu, and that's why you're sick, you are beyond an idiot. You're supposed to get sick every year, or at least every 2 years. No one just never gets sick. Unless, okay, I do know some people in the military who never get sick. But remember, they'll tell you, they line up one after the other, and they're given like 15 injections of God knows what in one day. And apparently that cocktail prevents them from, from getting sick. I know a bunch of people that have told me the same story. They all get these shots at once. And for the most part, they never get sick. Other than that, everybody else is going to get sick, because if you're in the military, your body belongs to the government. I'm independent. My body does not belong to the government, so I don't listen to the government. And even though I love Trump, I don't take medical advice from game show hosts. I don't know. I just found that the guy from Apprentice telling me reminds me of somebody who designs software for computers, also giving me medical advice, or someone who calls himself a doctor named Fauci giving me medical advice. You don't see patients. None of you do. None of you should be giving advice to anyone. The YouTube rules that I must follow for disinformation should equally be applied to everyone. However, some people, when other voices are censored, other voices are amplified, can't really say nothing about that. But anyway, these people are all lining up for Bragg. I never understood why we have so many military bases anyway. I don't know what they do with these military bases, if they all serve the same function or they serve different functions. No one knows. No one talks about it. No one's allowed to ask. I don't know, but I do know that you can mentally, if you can convince a man that he has a period when his penis starts to bleed for some reason, then you can convince another man to do or to say anything. Apparently, brainwashing, MK Ultra, those things are real. Being able to convince people to do things that they normally would not do or they know to be wrong is real. And the going story right now is that this man from the Cybertruck incident is still alive. But the question is, They were saying that he put a body in the truck and he remote controlled the truck to get into the front of Trump Tower. Okay, well, why is no one asking where did he get this body from? Like, who was his plug at the morgue? Did he have a cadaver just lying around? Even if it's not his body and someone else's body, I mean, okay, there's somebody who's unaccounted for in the population. Well, who's this person that he put in there instead of himself? And also, what is the political goal? If you're going to call that an act of terrorism, okay, a cyber truck with a bunch of explosives, with a bunch of fireworks goes off. I don't understand how that would be very intimidating or something that people would be afraid of. It did minimal damage in front of the Trump Tower. And obviously the Cybertruck battery, which is a bomb itself, and I'm a Tesla owner, several. So I can tell you, yeah, those are bombs. And you know, and I don't know if anybody remembers Stuxnet when they used a worm to attack the centrifuges in Iran for their nuclear facility, but they were able to get all of them to kind of implode on themselves by using a worm. It's like a computer virus. Tesla, all their cars are on one network. If you have a Stuxnet type virus that you can infect into their system, technically you can get all the Tesla batteries on every car, millions of them in the country alone, to just go off at once. Imagine that. You don't even have a Tesla, but the blast radius on one of those car batteries, if your neighbor has one, you're fucked too. If you have one in your garage, whoever lives in front of the garage or above it, you think they're making it out of the house? If that thing just goes, technically, you don't even need nuclear missiles. You don't need to attack the United States at all. You have we have millions of mini nukes strategically that can be controlled remotely. Obviously, if this guy remotely moved a truck in front of the Trump Tower and he wasn't even driving it, you could move these cars in positions all over the country and just wait. And then they can just all go up at once. Theoretically, it is possible. Not saying that's going to happen, but why wouldn't it? Obviously, Elon Musk doesn't like us. And what if the people who don't like Musk are trying to frame Musk and say that he's behind it? That just seems like it's a brilliant plan that no one's talking about. The Cybertruck went off. The fireworks, their little makeshift bombs went off, but it wasn't the battery. If that battery had went out, that car, you wouldn't have been able to put that fire out for 3 or 4 days, if even. And the fire department doesn't have the tools required to put out a lithium fire in the first fucking place. So, and it would have blew the shit. That hotel would be shut down. There wouldn't be a lobby there. So obviously this wasn't a real act of terrorism. And if they're trying to send a message, I don't know what it is. You put a dead body in a car, park it, and set off some fireworks in front of Trump's hotel. What the fuck? That doesn't make any sense. It seems like a distraction. And this other guy in New Orleans, a distraction. I mean, more terrorism than that happens at a regular club in the hood in New Orleans. And I mean, that's not even much damage anyway. I don't know. Those are just a couple things I wanted to bring up. I just have a couple other topics that we're going to talk about, but I'm going to try to keep all of these segments under 15 minutes so that I can post them to Instagram. But please like and subscribe the YouTube page. Right now it's ClubRico podcast, but it's also America First Daily News. And I'm Right Wing Rico. People have been calling me that, so I guess I'm just going to own it. I can't believe I'm right wing just because I'm a regular person without all these weird views on men and trans and gay and all this other stuff. Me just being a regular person makes me right wing, so I guess. All right, I'll be back on in about 20 minutes.